Hey guys, Pete here from No Limits. I wanted to make a video in regards to rep tryouts, which have, for most clubs, just sort of concluded these last couple of days or within the last week or so. And I've got no doubt that there's going to be some players out there that didn't make a team and right now probably pretty distraught and not quite sure how to process it or what to do about it. I can speak from some personal experience here in terms of getting cut from rep tryouts, and so hopefully I can just provide you with some insight. Both sort of taking it from two prongs here. Number one, putting it in perspective, and then number two, a plan going forward to actually hopefully get something different the next time that it happens. In terms of putting it in perspective, it's not the end of the world. There's going to be a lot more basketball in your life if you want there to be, and it doesn't have to be the end of your basketball journey if that's maybe what you're thinking at the moment. I've drawn a little graph here, which is success, and a lot of people seem to think that success kind of goes like this, and it's just a straight line up without any ups and downs, whereas in reality, it's probably something more like this. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs, but eventually we get there. And maybe getting cut is just an example of one of your downs. It's a pretty famous story that it's worth repeating. It's why a lot of people do repeat it. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team, right? The best player to ever play basketball, potentially. Some people say it's up for debate. He got cut from his high school team, and that means that he was at least, I think, 8th or 9th grade. Okay, so year 8 or year 9, and he got cut, and he's now arguably the greatest player that ever played. So ups and downs are going to happen. It doesn't mean that it's the end of your basketball career if you don't want it to be, and there's still going to be plenty of chances for you to play competitively in future if you want it to happen. I got cut from under 18s bottom age, under 18s top age, bottom age 20s, and I finally made a team top age 20s. And now I've been playing Big B for the last 6-7 years. So if you want to keep playing, don't let this be the end of your road. There's going to be plenty more opportunities for you to come in future. One other thing to consider is that certain coaches are going to be looking for certain things, and different coaches can have very different opinions on players. As someone who's been part of quite a few tryout processes as a coach, and we always discuss as coaches, who's thinking what. There's been plenty of times where we've had one coach thinks the player should be in the 1s, and then other coach might think that exact same player should be in the 3s or the 4s. Or there might be one coach thinks the player's in the 2s or 3s, and another coach thinks that player actually should be cut and not make a team. So there's a big scope of coaches' opinions on players, because it's very hard to be objective, right? Coaches have opinions, and a lot of them look for different things. And so part of you making a team might just simply be that the coach didn't see what you had or didn't value those traits that you had that were positive. And maybe if you're a different club, maybe you would have made a team. There's no way to know that. But it's just something to keep in mind that coaches have very different opinions on players, and obviously that's something that's out of our control, but just something to be aware of. Now on the flip side, all right, there's a reason that you got cut. I don't want to be the guy, the bearer of bad news, but there's a reason that you got cut. I've had someone say to me that, and this was in regards to playing time, but it's kind of the same thing in regards to making a team or not. Be so good that you're making the decision and you're taking the decision away from the coach. So what I mean by that is, if you're so good that you're just definitely in a team, well then now it's not up to the coach anymore, because you've made it so clear that you should be in a team by how much work you did and how good you got your skills, that it's just a no-brainer, right? There's not even a decision to be made. You're in a team. So you've taken responsibility and ownership for that decision. If you're on the cusp and now it's up to the coach, well, you kind of lost control of that situation, right? By being on the edge. And there might be someone that was taller than you or more athletic than you with the same skill set, that did the same amount of practice, that made a team and you didn't. And unfortunately, that's basketball and that's life. It's going to happen and it's going to keep happening. There's probably also, though, some players that have the same natural gifts that you have, the same height, the same athleticism, the same speed, and they probably have better skills, and those players probably made a team. There's kind of 4 positions really in basketball. You need to tick one of these boxes to add value to a team and to make a team. Big, athletic, shooter, point guard. Those are really the 4 positions in basketball. And you could be a combination of the 2, but you need to be at least one of those 4. And when we look at rep tryouts, typically the players that do get cut don't tick any of those 4 boxes. They're usually shorter guys that have okay skills, they can't shoot particularly well, maybe okay, and they're not a point guard, they don't really lead the team. And so when they don't tick any of those 4 boxes, those are usually the players that do get cut. If the players are big, they'll usually make a team. If they're very athletic, they'll usually make a team. If they're a point guard, they'll usually make a team. And if they can shoot the ball really, really well, they'll usually make a team. So big and athletic are 2 things that are kind of out of our control. And so the 2 things that are left that are in our control are being a point guard, which is leading a team, and having good ball handling skills, good dribbling skills, good passing skills, and then being a shooter. If you can shoot, then it's very, very hard for coaches to cut you if you can consistently make shots. So those are 2 that are really in our control. So going forward, you've got the decision to, or if you make the decision that you do want to try out again next year, you need to have a different process to what you did the previous year. If you want to get a different result, a different output, we've got to have a different process, a different input. And the unfortunate thing is that the players that have made a team, okay, they've now got rep basketball training, they've got competitive training, competitive games, and for you to make a team next year, you have to overtake one of those players. So you can't improve at the same rate as them. If you're here right now, you didn't make a team, these players made a team. If you both improve over the next year the same amount, then you're still not going to make a team next year. And so we need to improve, or you need to improve even faster than they do, and do even more work than they do. Now, the good news is that a lot of players don't spend a whole lot of time practicing on their own, if at all. A lot of players, their practice is with their team, and they might do some kind of lazy shooting around on their own, and that's about it. So if you put in, say, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour of really quality skill work most days, that for a lot of players will be enough to get them into a rep team if you did that work consistently. Now, if you want to be better than that, it's going to need to be more time, but as kind of a baseline, half an hour, 4 or 5 times a week is going to be a lot more than a lot of players do. If it's good quality skill work, where you're actually focusing on learning some new footwork, learning new moves, working on your shooting technique, that sort of stuff. But the key thing is that it's got to be a different process to what you did last year, because what you did last year or within the last 12 months has got you the result of getting cut. And so if you want a different result next tryouts, you need to have a different process and a different work ethic and a different allocation of your time to training and to improving your skills. I made the mistake of not doing that. As I said, I got cut 3 years in a row, and I didn't do a whole lot of work between those years. I did a little bit, I did some skill work, but I pretty much came back the same player, kind of improving at the same rate as those players that were making teams. So I improved, but it wasn't at a faster rate than the guys above me, and so I just kept getting cut year after year and didn't make an adjustment, right? Because that's what we need to do, is we need to make an adjustment to what we do if we want to get a different result. I hope those thoughts have been helpful, guys. If you have any questions or you're in a tough spot because you did get cut or didn't make a team that you're expecting to, and if there's any way I can help you, provide any sort of guidance, more than happy to. Shoot me a message and I'll get back to you very, very quickly, because I know it's a tough time that can need some help, and I'm more than happy to provide that for anyone who's watching this video. So hope that's helped, guys, and all the best for your training this year.